So what is chemical reaction? Before understanding this concept, we all should know that every matter undergoes two types of change. We already know this from our previous classes that every matter undergoes two types of change. First type is physical change, and the second type of change that matter undergoes is chemical change. We all know this thing. So let us see one example here. What happens when ice block or ice cube is kept at room temperature? What will happen to it? Ice cube, if it is left open at room temperature, what will happen? It will melt and form liquid water, isn't it? Will melt and form liquid water. Now, what is happening over here is ice cube, which is basically water, made up of water only, H2O. Chemically it is H2O, and liquid water is also H2O only. So here we can see that identity or the nature of initial substance is retained, right? So the identity of substance or the initial substance is retained in this type of change, and hence such type of change or this type of change is called physical change. Physical change. Similarly, what happens when we melt a solid wax? What will happen to it? It will convert into liquid state, but again it will be a wax. So again, the melting of wax is also a type of physical change. Now consider a situation. What will happen if milk is left at room temperature during summers? What will happen to that milk? If it is left for too long time, it will lose its identity and convert into curd. This curd may not be edible, so it will become curdy, you can say. So milk will become curdy. So milk here loses its identity as well as it loses its nature. So this curdy substance does not taste like milk, does not smell like milk, its texture is different, and also smell is different, and in fact chemical composition is also different. So what is happening over here is basically the sugar present in milk gets converted into lactic acid in this curdy substance. So this type of change where this initial substance loses its identity or loses its nature is called chemical change. So this is chemical change. So now we know that there are two types of change that any matter can undergo. One is physical change, where initial substance do not lose its nature as well as its identity, and the second type of change is chemical change, where the initial substance loses its nature and identity completely and forms a new product. Now we say that whenever chemical change is taking place, we call it as a chemical reaction. We say that chemical reaction has occurred here. So whenever there is a chemical change, we say that chemical reaction has occurred. So now you must be wondering, what is chemical reaction then? So chemical reaction is a process. Basically, it is a process in which one substance loses its identity and forms a completely new substance. Or You can also define it like this, that it is a process. Chemical reaction is a process in which initial substance gets transformed into a new substance. So you may note this down also in your notebook if you want, this definition of chemical reaction. You just pause it, rewind it, and note it down. So now we are fully aware of this concept, what is chemical reaction. Now let us see some more examples from day-to-day life, and also we are going to see some more examples of chemical reaction that we can do in laboratory in the next class.